Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the Inside the GIAA here, presented by the Beck Center. Me and Rich on the road again. I'm actually in Macon as we're getting site visits ready. Quarterfinals for basketball. We're going to be streaming it. That's 2 weeks from this Friday and Saturday. Live from FPD, from Tatnall, from Stratford. And then, Richard, we are going to be ready for semifinals and state championships right after. But what's up, man? Another week in the GIAA, another week around the association. A lot to get into today, and I can't wait to break it down here on ITG.
Absolutely, Thrift. We've had championships that have been moved to this week. Swimming, individual wrestling championships are going to be moved till next week. Next week is district tournaments in and around the GIAA. And we're going to drop our rankings, and we got one more final rankings before we actually will determine who will be seated where, as the first round of the basketball playoffs will be February 17th and 18th, and then in round 2, February 20th and 21st. So exciting stuff. We know that the quarterfinals are going to be at 3 locations, February 20th and 21st, Tatnall, FPD, and Stratford.
Rich, we are presented by the Beck Center. And by the way, we were there this past Sunday. Baseball season's here, and we did our baseball media day. That was a lot of fun, Richard, and glad that we were able to be there. Thank you again to Roger Beck and the Beck Center for being one of our presenting sponsors. We're going to talk about updated rankings. Guess what? This is the last week of the regular season. Region tournament starts next week, the week after, playoffs, the week after that, state championship. So we got about 2.5 weeks of just 3 weeks. 3.5 weeks of just nonstop craziness happening. So we'll talk about that, where these upcoming state championships and how you can go and watch them when it comes in terms of wrestling and also swimming and any other news and notes around the association, Richard. And let's first start with the state championships that we got coming up, Richard. So without further ado, I'll let you take the floor on this weekend. I know we had several things that were rescheduled, which includes the dual state championships for the GIAA.
Absolutely. Well, the state swimming meet that was supposed to be scheduled January the 31st, well, because of the inclement weather that's been happening up in Atlanta, that's been moved to Saturday, February the 7th at Georgia Tech at the Aquatic Center. There, the site of the 1996 Olympics. We look at all the swimmers as they get ready to have that swim meet. I know that they are just anxiously waiting to go into this swimming meet to try to see who is going to be on top, individual and
again,
team
that's
awards.
Next Monday. That's next Monday at Georgia Tech. Swim got rescheduled to then.
Okay, so it is the 9th. Okay, I thought it was actually
February
the 7th.
9th.
Okay.
No, it is February 9th. I just want to clarify. Sorry, everyone.
Absolutely.
Georgia Tech is where the swim championships will be, and it was rescheduled there a day ago. That is coming up this Monday, February 9th, the swim championships. Dual wrestling is going on right as we speak, Richard. We had some picks from a couple of days ago. And we also had the dual wrestling championships that just ended, Rich. And how about this? 2 days ago, Athens Christian is your 2026 GIAA dual wrestling state champions. So congratulations to Athens Christian. Straw Rock was runner-up. So, again, we just did the duals. Team wrestling state championships are coming up here this week, Richard. So it is at Riverside Military this set Friday. Is at 2 p.m. is when it starts. Saturday at 8 a.m. are when gates open. Weigh-ins are from 2 to 3:30 on February the 6th and 8:45 on Saturday. And then the wrestling starts at 4 p.m. on Friday, 9 a.m. on Saturday. And you'll be able to watch all of them by Riverside Preparatory Academy on YouTube. If you go to GIAA Sports, go to the wrestling tab, you'll see it there, GIAAsports.org. When you click on that, it will say live stream. When you click on their YouTube, you can watch for free those the individual state championships, Richard. But for the dual, congratulations to Athens Christian on your 2026 dual wrestling state champions as they take down Strong Rock, and we'll see individuals coming up this weekend. And then on Monday, don't forget the swimming state championships as well. All right, Rich, let's take a break. When we come back, we got more. It's Inside the GIAA. We're going to talk about those rankings. They came out again, Rich. We got some movement. Go into it next on ITG.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.tv, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
Welcome back, everyone, here inside the GIAA. All right, Rich, it's time for those rankings, and I know everybody is interested. Presented by the Beck Center. Where are the teams at right now? Richard, let's start with the 1A classification, and let's start with the girls. Richard, without further ado, I'll let you take this one.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and start with the girls at as that. I don't know why that last slide was there. Okay. Starting at number 10, Flint River with a 6-9 record. Twigs Academy, 6-12. Thomas Jefferson actually moved up this week as they rattled off 3 straight. And we got Crisp Academy that's sitting there at number 7. David Emmanuel, 11-9 record. It's sitting at number 6. Fullington Academy, they are at number 5 with a 15-5 record. And then we have St. George. They are at 12-5. And Citizens Christian, despite their record 11-10, they have had an incredible strength of schedule, and that's why they are ranked 3rd. We've got Robert Toombs as they are at number 2 with a 13-8 record. And then Memorial Day, they have been the number 1 team all season. They are at number 1. Remember, the first 4 teams get a bye, and the Class A girls will be playing Friday, February 20th. We've got the 8-9 seed, 5-12, 7-10, and 6-11 all playing against each other, and with the right to go to the quarterfinals, which will be taking place on Friday, February the 20th at 3 locations: Stratford, Tatnall, or FPD. They have not determined where this is going to be held. And then, of course, the semifinals are going to be at ABAC in Tifton.
A lot of information right there, Rich, but 16 teams are in the 1A classification. Atlanta Jewish, Highland Christian Academy, Covenant, and Westwood, all on the outside looking in. John Hancock is number 11, Grace Christian number 12. They both would be in the playoffs. And remember, the top 4 seeds all get byes heading into the playoffs. So we'll see how those play out. Now let's go to the boys 1A classification. And same thing with the boys 1A classification. There are 19 teams: Twigs, Flint River, John Hancock, David Emmanuel, Fullington, Crisp, and Covenant, all out. Highland Christian Academy, number 12, in the playoffs right now, and Westwood, number 11, are in. Now let's talk about the top 10. Thomas Jefferson comes in at number 10, Grace Christian at number 9, Memorial Day with 4-16, but again, very tough schedule. They have the toughest strength of schedule out of anybody in 1A. That is why they're number 8. Number 7, Atlanta Jewish Academy. Number 6, St. George's. Number 5, Oak Mountain at 17-4. Number 4, LaGrange Academy. Number 3, Robert Toombs. Number 2, Citizens Christian. And the number 1 team, First Preparatory Christian Academy, 15-3 on the year. And there is a significant gap between them and Citizens, and then even a bigger gap between Citizens and Robert Toombs. What do you got, Rich?
Well, we've got First Preparatory Christian. They are the number 1 seed, and they are also the defending champions. They are looking pretty good so far, and this is a team out of Hinesville that they have just showcased their team and what they have done. Citizens Christian, they were the runners-up last year. I expect these 2 teams to face off against each other. And looking at the brackets they are going to play on the 21st of February. And they haven't determined what the sites are going to be. It's Stratford, Tatnall, and FPD. And then the semifinals are going to take place on Wednesday, February 25th. So looking forward to seeing how the single A bracket is going to play out.
All right. So let's talk. 2A classification girls. 19 St. Mary's out. Monsignor Donovan out. Holy Spirit Prep out. Augusta Prep out. Heritage Preparatory out. Furtop Prep and Westminster Christian Academy all out of the playoffs. And we'll tell you Westminster's right on the threshold, right behind Heritage, who's 14-5, but number 12. Georgia Christian, number 11. Sherwood, top 10. So Heritage and Georgia Christian in top 10. Here is Sherwood Christian. Number 9 is Central Fellowship. Number 8, Briarwood. Number 7, Southland. Number 6, Edmund Burke. Number 5, Windsor Academy. Number 4, Gatewood. Number 3, Trinity Christian. Number 2 is Southwest Georgia. And number 1 team is Brentwood. Those top two teams definitely look like heavy favorites this year, but don't count out Trinity Christian or Gatewood as well. It should be a fun 2A playoffs, Richard.
Yeah, I'm confused. Central Fellowship is the defending 2A champions, and yet they're ranked number 10. I'm wondering, they must lost a lot from last year. They must have just updated the rankings, because the current rankings I have on here, they just updated the rankings today. This was based off the rankings on Monday. So Southwest Georgia Academy actually jumps Trinity Christian, and they are now the number 2 team. So apologize for that. These rankings were updated as of Monday, but they just came out with the rankings as of today.
Right,
normally we do a show on Wednesday, so that's why this is kind of news to me.
Yeah, so looking at the number 19 in 3A, 2A boys, Gatewood out, Edmund Burke out, Monsignor Donovan out, Windsor Academy out, Georgia Christian, Briarwood, Holy Spirit Prep. All those teams would not make the playoffs in 2A boys. Trinity Christian, number 12 in. Number 11, St. Mary's in the playoffs. Now let's talk top 10. Sherwood, number 10. Augusta Prep, number 9. Number 8 is Southwest Georgia. Number 7, Westminster Christian Academy. Number 6, Southland. Number 5, Heritage Preparatory. Number 4, Central Fellowship Christian Academy. Number 3, Brentwood at 19-2. Number 2, Furtop Prep. And number 1 team, and a big margin at that, is Heritage. And they look like a team that maybe this will be finally the year for Coach Job Jerome to get back on top of the mountain. They come in at number 1.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Heritage is finally going to get over the hump. They've been playing outstanding all season. In fact, they defeated Furtop Prep 2 nights ago. We had a rematch of the championship game that's been the championship game the last 2 seasons. So what a win for Coach Jerome and the Heritage Hawks. But I think, it's hard to beat a team multiple times. I don't know how many times they're going to end up playing for Top Prep. They look like they're a region opponent, but they could end up meeting in the championship once again. I don't know. What do you think? I'm actually looking at the standings right now. Furtop Prep and Heritage are in the same region. Heritage got a 10-0 record. Furtop Prep 6-2. So it looks like they're going to end up meeting again for the 3rd time. How about that? Because they did.
Heritage has lost a state championship game since 2022, 23, 24, 25, 4 consecutive years. I think Joe Jerome's team is going to find a way, and he is due for one. Remember the Lakeview? They came up short against them, 53-44 in that overtime thriller 2 years ago. Last year, as you may mention, they had a game that went down to the wire against Furtop Prep, and they lost that one 49-43, Rich. And then 2 years ago, like I may mention, they lost to Lakeview. 3 years ago, they lost to who in the state championship game? St. Andrews. So this team's dominant. I don't expect any other team except for Heritage be in, and hopefully we may get a rematch against Fertile Prep. Now let's go to 3A girls. And in the 3A girls classification, we have 14 teams. Brookwood and Valwood out. Deerfield, Windsor in. Piedmont in at 12 and 11. Number 10, Pinewood. Number 9, Thrift area. Number 8, Dominion Christian. Number 7, St. Andrews. Number 6, John Millage. Number 5, Westminster Schools of Augusta. Number 4, Lakeview Academy. Number 3, Terrell. Number 2, Westfield. As they're undefeated in region play, they take on Pacelli tomorrow. And number 1 team and undefeated still, Frederica Academy at 17-0.
How about that? And I'm really impressed. The defending champions, Lakeview Academy, ends up taking down the 4A school, Loganville Christian. How about Westfield School getting a big win over Strong Rock on the road? They look fantastic. Frederica still undefeated. They're number 1 for a reason. Have they been tested yet? They did defeat St. Andrews. And St. Andrews is ranked 7th. And they actually took care of business against St. Andrews, 49-36. I still think when it's all said and done, Lakeview is got to be the favorites because they're the defending champions. But I would never count out John Millage. I know that losing record might be deceiving because they do play a tough schedule. But John Millage was in the championship last year as a 7 seed. They had a little bit of an easy path because they were able to take on the 6 seed Westminster Schools of Augusta. But I can't wait to see how this plays out because we might have some upsets in the tournament. And we could have Lakeview coming out on top once again. But Frederica, that's the team to watch. They got to the Final Four last year. They lost to Lakeview. Can Frederica get it done?
Number 14, Terrell for boys in 3A. Number 13, Westminster. Both of them out of the playoffs. Pinewood and Dominion Christian, 11 and 12 are in. And top 10, Piedmont. Number 9, John Millage. Number 8, Westfield School. Number 7, Frederica. Number 6, Thrift area. Number 5, Valwood. And then here's the top 4, a little similar to last year. Lakeview, number 4. Number 3, St. Andrews, the defending state champion. Number 2, Deerfield Windsor. And the number 1 team, as they were last year in the regular season, is Brookwood.
Yeah, Brookwood has been the best team all year. And what they have been doing is that they just keep on winning. But like you mentioned, the championship last year was Brookwood St. Andrews. St. Andrews actually did get a big win over Frederica. Frederica is the 7th team. John Millage, I would not count out John Millage. They defeated Piedmont Academy by 1 point, and so they are sitting at 11 and 10 overall. And just looking down and seeing some of the other teams that are fighting for those spots, we have got district play next week. And, you've got 3A teams and 4A, mainly 4A brackets. A team like Westfield School sitting there at number 8. They are in a bracket with a bunch of 4A schools. So we'll get some clarity. I think that Brookwood and St. Andrews, when it's all said and done, I mean, as much as I love Deerfield Windsor, and they got a big non-district game tonight. They take on Calvary Christian, a 4A school. Deerfield Windsor is a team that can make some noise, and so does Lakeview. So, yeah, like you mentioned, the top 4 teams were the 4 teams that were in the Final Four, and I really expect the same this time around.
All right, so now let's go to the 4A classification, and for the girls, as they have more teams than 3A, they got 16, Fulton Science, Calvary Christian, Tatnall Square, Strong Rock out. In Brookstone, 12, Bethlehem Christian, 11 in the top 10. Bullock at number 10. Tallulah Falls at number 9. How about the defending 2-time state champion Pacelli at 8 still? FPD comes in at number 7. The Kings Academy at number 6. Loganville, 5. Top 4, Mountain Cells, Latimer, great player. They had a big-time game against Stratford. Stratford dominated Mountain Cells on the road. They come in at number 3, and they got some ballers on their team. George Walton, the perennial powerhouse, And the number one team, and they've been the number one team all year, is Athens Christian. Man, that is going to be some type of battle between those 4 teams, Rich.
Yeah, some of the scores from around.
And by the way, I just want to add this in there real quick, Richard. Athens Christian, Georgia, you know where they're ranked? Number 9 team in the entire state.
Wow. That's incredible. FPD ends up defeating Tatnall 59-51 on the road. We had Stratford ended up defeating Mount DeSales 59-40. How about that? And by the way, these are not the proper records because these were based on the rankings on Monday. I just wanted to throw that out there to everybody. Westminster Schools of Augusta able to take down Bullock Academy. What a great win for a lower classification of a team. Like you mentioned, Athens Christian, they had no problem against Bethlehem Christian 77-35. And looking around the class, we actually have a big game tonight. Number 8, Pacelli, taking on number 12, Brookstone. That's going to be a game that could determine seeding, especially when we get ready for district play next week. And that is about it in the 4A. Any other big games? I'm trying to make sure to cover all the big games, but that's about it for 4A.
4A boys. Number 18, Riverside Military Academy. Number 17, Strong Rock. 16, Stratford. Cristo Rey for FPD. Fulton Science out of the playoffs right now. In the playoffs, Bull Academy and Mount DeSales at 12 and 11. Number 10, Brookstone. 9, Tatnall Square, and they've come on strong and leading their region. Number 8, Loganville Christian. Number 7, Calvary Christian. Number 6, George Walton. Number 5, Athens Christian. Number 4, Athens has jumped all the way up. Number 4, Tallulah Falls. Number 3, Bethlehem Christian. Number 2, the Kings Academy. And the number 1 team is Pacelli, the defending 2-time state champion.
Yeah, big win for Bethlehem Christian, defeating Athens Christian on the road. We've got, looking at this, we've got Westfield School ends up defeating Strong Rock 63-46. Strong Rock is that team that's kind of on the bubble. Tatnall, they've had a pretty good season so far. They defeated FPD 55-46. We got Mount DeSales that defeated Stratford Academy 61-41. How about the Kings Academy as they continue rolling in their second year in the GIAA? They were able to defeat Fulton Science up in Woodstock 77-57. And we also had Tallulah Falls ended up defeating George Walton 62-47. So as we get district play going next week in the district tournament, these seeds will finally take fruition. And I think that Pacelli is going to hold on to that number 1 spot. They have looked fantastic. They're undefeated in district play, and I expect them to beat every team in front of them in district play, including some of the top teams. They got Brookstone later tonight. I expect Calvary is the number 2 team. I think that that's going to be the championship in district play. But Pacelli has just been rolling. And despite their record, they're the number 1 seed because of their tough strength of schedule.
All right. There's our top 10. Everybody that watched, thank y'all for tuning in and seeing. You can check all those rankings on GIAAsports.org. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up on Inside the GIAA, presented by the Beck Center. We'll be right back after this.
GIAA.tv now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.tv Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.tv Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.tv Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.tv Plus, with all of your fan favorites. GIAA.tv Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more, featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.tv.
Duels ended. Congratulations again to Athens Christian and also runner-up Strong Rock. Individuals happening this weekend at Riverside Preparatory. You can go to the website and you can watch on their YouTube for free the entire tournament, Friday and Saturday. Wrestling, Georgia Tech on Monday. And then guess what? Region tournament for basketball next week for a ton of these for the different regions in each classification. The week after that, playoff start, quarterfinals. We're going to broadcast all of it on GIAA.tv February 20th and 21st. And then the week after that at ABAC at Columbus State, semifinals, and then at Columbus State, state championship. So busy next couple of weeks. And we look to bring you all the coverage on GIAA.tv and on the GIAA Instagram, Facebook. Make sure to go and like, subscribe. And Richard, I cannot wait, man. These next couple of weeks, we're going to be finding out who is going to be our new state champions again.
Yeah, I cannot wait for all 6 districts for 3A and 4A classifications for their tournament. And then we have for Class 2A, we have got 4 districts. And for Class 1A, we have got 5 districts. So that's going to be incredible. And
yeah, it is.
It's one of those things like it really matters. If you win your district, it just gives you more style points to try to lock in the number 1 seed. I don't think it's like one of those scenarios where you have to play your way into the district tournament. But those teams on the outskirts, they're the 13, 14, 15 seeds, they're going to need some help. They're going to have to go on a run in their district tournament, maybe even win the whole thing to try to sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Rich. And can't wait to see how those are going to play out. Another fun time, and glad that we were able to break it down. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside the GIAA.